All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Abdulaziz Akombi, the lead community manager here at Lobby AI, and this will be our fourth community event of the year, which is about automation, how to identify and automate repetitive work processes. Here with me, the workshop facilitator is Joshua AJ. Is the lead automation engineer at Lobby AI. So I'll be passing the microphone to him so that I can introduce himself better and kickstart the session from there. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Abdul. Good day, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can.
All right, like Abdul rightly said, um, I'm AJ, as most people know me, titled Joshua. I'm the lead automation engineer here at Lobby. All right, and today we'll be talking about how to identify and how to automate processes. All right, so we'll be starting with the first part of the statement, how to identify what to automate. Right. I think that's where we spend the bulk of our time because with the age of AI, automation is becoming really simple. Like it's getting simpler by the day. But where people make the mistake is finding out or identifying what to automate. Right. I've discovered in my interactions with people that their problem is not automation. Right. It doesn't take them anything to understand and to use anything. Or where the problem usually is, right, is knowing what to identify. So most times you see people trying to automate what shouldn't be automated, right? So I would want us to go through and look at how exactly do I identify what should be automated, right? And how do we discover? How do we know these things? So I have a 10-step process. It's something really simple. I think I'll share a document with Abdul, right, detailing all of this maybe after the session. So Abdul can help us with these things. So without wasting much of our time, I'll jump into it. So the first thing you should always do whenever you want to automate, right? The first thing you should do is define your tasks clearly, right? You should be able to describe it in one sentence. And when you're describing the task you want to automate, right, you want to be able to define these things. One, the trigger, right? Um, am I still audible? Abdul, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I saw a message in the chat that said I wasn't audible. Okay. So as I was saying, the first thing you want to do is you want to start with you want to describe what you're trying to automate, right? In describing what you want to automate, the questions you want to answer are what starts it. So what starts the automation? Is it going to be someone fills a form? Is that what triggers the automation? A message comes into your email. Is that what triggers the automation? Is that what starts the entire process? So you should always start with defining where does the automation start and what starts it. Now, once you've answered that question, the next thing you want to do is what input or what information does the automation require to work well, to give you the optimum input, to give you the optimum output rather, right? So you've defined what starts the automation, right? What triggers it. The next thing you want to do or the next thing you want to talk about is what information does this automation need, right? So for it to work well, does it need the name of the person that sent the mail? Does it need more information on, let's say it's a customer. Let's say you're building a customer support agent. Would it need more details to find out more about the customer, right? You should be able to define what are the different information this automation would require once it kicks off. So once you've defined what starts the automation, you defined what information it needs to run as it should. The next thing you want to look at is what rules decide the outcome. Now, when I say what rules decide the outcome, let's say we're looking at a sentiment agent, right? So the agent gets a review, and then it should be able to give us sentimental analysis. Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it extreme? Now, if it's positive, right? Now this is now I'm talking about the decision. This is the decision part of the automation. So if it is positive, let's move it to our Google Business Review page, right? If it's negative, let's pass it on to the customer support team to follow up. If it's extreme, let's send it to, say, the CEO. Do you understand? Now that is the decision. That is where you're deciding what the outcome would be. Remember, the first thing we did was to define what starts or what triggers the automation. The next thing we're looking at is what information does the automation require, right? Once you've answered that question, the next question is what rule decides the outcome? And that's what we're now talking about. If it's positive, do this. If it's negative, do that. You understand? Now you're defining the rules. The next thing on the list is what is the output? What is it going to do? Like in what format are we expecting the output? Is the output going to be text? Is it going to be a document? Is the output going to be agent maybe give them passing a call across to someone? What is the output? What output are we expecting? Right? That's really simple. Then the last question you want to answer is who does it today? So whatever we are trying to automate, there's somebody that is doing that thing. We're just trying to make it faster. We're trying to automate it, get machines or get AI to do these things. So there's always somebody that is already doing it. So once you've defined what starts it, what information it needs to run as it should, right? You've defined the rules of the automation. You've defined what the output would be. The next thing is who does it. So when you're able to define who is doing this thing as of now, what that helps you to do is it helps you to know who to route your questions to. It's just like I want to build a marketing agent, right? I'm not a marketing expert, but I've discovered that, you know what, lobbying is a marketing agent. If I'm able to define who is already doing it, which is the marketers, I'm able to route my question to the marketers and say, oh, I want to be the marketing agent. So when you carry out marketing, how do you go about it? What tools do you use? What's the process like, right? So if I should run into a blocker, the agent is not giving me the right output. It's not optimum yet. I know what to do and say, okay, I'm working on this, but it's not working well. And they'll be able to look at it and say, oh, okay, so the agent is doing 1, 2, 3, right? Okay, at number 4, the agent is not doing it well. And I'm able to tweak it. So once you've defined what starts it, which is the trigger, the next thing you're defining is what information does the automation require, right? The next thing is the decision. What rules decide the outcome? That's more like the business logic. Once you define that, you move on to the output. What gets produced? What's the output like? Is it a PDF, a text, or whatever? Then the owner, who does it today? So that's that part. If you're not able to answer these questions clearly, don't automate yet. You're not ready to automate that particular task. If these questions are not properly answered, they are not clear to you yet, do some more research. Maybe you can try it out with GPT, ask some questions. Well, you should be able to answer these questions clearly before you move into automating anything. Whatever it is you want to automate, no matter how simple it is, always try to answer these questions. What starts it? What info does it need? What rules decide the outcomes? What gets produced? And who does it today? So the next thing we'd want to look at is you want to classify the task type. Now, generally, I've divided everything into 4 task types, right? So the first one are routine and rule-based tasks, right? So when I say routine and rule-based tasks, these are simple tasks where I say if the status of the transaction is paid, then send the client a receipt. If the incoming mail is about is a statement, send it this way. These messages are becoming distracting. Okay, so as I was saying, the routine and rule-based tasks, right? So if those are very simple tasks, they are the tasks that, you know, if A happens, then the system does B. If B happens, the system does C, right? No, I'm not sharing my screen at the moment. I'm not. I'll send the slide across to Abdul, and he would share to the team or with the community as time goes on. But it's just my face. I'm sorry. Okay, so where was I? Routine and rule-based tasks, right? So those are simple tasks that have like they have predefined rules. If A happens, the system does B, right? So classify the task. If it falls in that category, sweet. That is a very great automation candidate. The moment you find that kind of a task, then know that you hit a gold mine. That task should definitely be automated. Tasks that are rule-based, they are routines. They happen on routines, right? Somebody fills the form, send them this particular email. Somebody does this, we do that. Those are very simple. The next one are judgment-heavy tasks, right? So those are the kind of tasks where you're like approve exception refund. So you have to look through what somebody has done, right, and make a decision. So do we do this? Okay, the person says he needs a refund. Look at the transaction. Okay, look at the transaction history. Yes, he made the payments, but he did not get value for his money. Okay, we should give a refund. Now, in these kind of scenarios, what you usually want to do, you want automation to assist you, don't fully automate that kind of a process. Processes that require judgment, like they are really judgment heavy, they require someone to think about them, process them, and process A and B and might not be the same thing. Two people are applying for the same thing, but it's not the same. Those kind of scenarios that require judgment, right? In those kind of scenarios, what you want to do is what you want to do in that scenario is you want to automate a part of it, but not the entire thing. So let's say you can automate the part where the information comes directly to you. The agent looks through it and says, okay, you know what? This is what I think should be the answer. Do you understand? Yes, I'm not sharing my screen. So yeah, judgment heavy task. So in that kind of scenario, you want to automate parts of the task where the agent just says, okay, this is what I think the answer should be, right? But the agent does not go ahead to issue out the refund, because in scenarios like that, the agent might hallucinate, might make mistakes, and then you end up trying to fix the mess of the agent. When you're automating, I want you to think of your automation at this point as I call them junior assistants or personal assistants. Yeah, I think that's a better one. Our personal assistants, they help you, but they don't do everything for you. There are certain things that still require your touch, that still require your decision, that still require you to do one or two things, right? So those are judgment heavy tasks. The third type of tasks that you want to divide this into are creative or relationship tasks, things that are based on relationship, right? They require you to become really creative. So things that require you to write. Another very good one is negotiations. So you've gotten this person, you've gotten the clients to this particular point, and it's time for negotiations. You don't want to automate that task, because when it comes to to negotiations, right? You're basically talking to someone, trying to figure out, okay, what works, what doesn't work, right? Negotiations are specific to the person on the other end of the call. So you might be talking to Meta. The negotiation you have with Meta would be really different if you were talking to MTN, right? So it requires a personal touch. It requires relationship. In those kind of scenarios, you don't want to automate that, right? Because automating that, you would have agents that they might end up making negotiations on your behalf that you don't want. So, for example, I remember I was reading an agent. So the very simple agent, watch my calendar. If someone had booked a meeting and maybe they're trying to say, let's reschedule, have a conversation with the person, look for the next open slot and reschedule. Now, I built another agent that does something similar, but with more use cases tied to it. I forgot to turn the other one off. And what happens is both agents, the message comes in, this other agent sees the message and is saying, okay, this person wants to reschedule. And the both of them go on the conversation spree on my behalf, toying with my calendar. Now, that was a mistake on my part. It was supposed to be one agent. But you could see that in that scenario, by the time I came, it had moved my events up and down, up and down. Like it was doing a lot of things, right? So in that scenario, you don't want to automate those kind of things that require negotiation, things that require you to be creative, things that are personal. Don't automate things like that. All right. The next thing are safety, things that are critical. So medical dosage and compliance sign off, those kind of processes, you want to do it yourself, right? Because in the situation of medicals, what happens is if you make a mistake, somebody can die, right? And in as much as AI has gotten better, AI is doing a lot of things. AI still hallucinates, not as much as it used to, but it is still hallucinating, right? So you don't want to use AI in those scenarios that require medical dosage, that require compliance and of checking if this machine is optimum and stuff like that. You don't want to automate things like that. So these are the four different categories that I think you would want to break your task into. After you've done the description, the next thing you want to do is you want to classify the task. Is it a routine and rule-based task? Right? That's a task that is if A, do B. Is it a judgment-heavy task? Excuse me. Is it a judgment-heavy task? Right? Something like approve forms, approve refund, and all of that. Is it something that is creative, something that is personal, something that is based off a relationship, things like negotiations? You don't want to automate that, right? And then safety, things that bother around safety and bother around that can be life-threatening. You also don't want to automate that. You want to take full responsibility for those kind of scenarios and do it yourself. The best you can do in that scenario is you automate you automate the preliminary parts, right? Get the information gathering per se, you can automate that part, but you still need a human in the loop to sit down and say, okay, based on all of the information that the automation has put together, right? This is what we should do. But you shouldn't automate the whole process. Okay, so step one was describe the task. Step two, classify the task type. Step three is answering a set of questions that tells us if this should be automated, right? So the next thing you want to look at is the frequency, right? How often does this happen, right? Does it happen daily? Does it happen hourly? Does it happen weekly, annually, biannually? You want to define the frequency, right? And based on the frequency, you can decide if it should be automated or not. The next thing you want to look at is time cost, right? Does it take up meaningful time per run? So I remember we automated a task for a company at one point. So what the agent does is it goes on LinkedIn, it finds customers, right, that meet the ideal customer profile, right, and then it goes on to he gathers all of that data, puts it in a sheet, right, and sends it to the client. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, someone speaking. Could you mute, please? Um, okay. All right. So moving on. So we talked about frequency, right? So you want to know how frequent is this tax. So you've done step one, step two. The next step is you want to define how frequent is it. Is it really frequent? Is it something that happens on a daily, right? The next thing you want to look at is time cost, right? Does it take up meaningful time? So I was giving an illustration or an example. We have done an automation of a system or an agent that goes on LinkedIn, finds clients that meet a particular that meet their ideal customer profile, puts all of that in a sheet with their data, right? Still does a level of enriching to get more information on these people so that the company just gets that and reaches out to the client. Now, before that time, what the company did was they did it by hand. They had somebody sit down for 8 hours a day, right? And the person would be on LinkedIn scrolling through, looking for, let's say, marketing leads for different companies, penning down their details, and then passing it on to someone else that will reach out to that customer. Now, that is time consuming. And if you remember, it is rule based. Does the person fit the ICP? Yes. Do this. Put it in a sheet. Does the person does the person is the person not a if the person does not fit, right? Then let them be. So that is rule based. It happens frequently and it is time consuming. You should automate something like that, right? The next question you want to answer that would help you decide if you should automate is repetition. This is something that happens repeatedly. So like this, like the analogy I just gave, that is a very good agent. That's a very good scenario to automate because it happens repeatedly, follows a rule, right? Clarity. So this is very important. Clarity. So when you're answering your questions, when you're putting all of these together, right? The rules for the outcome, your business rules, right? Are they clear? Can you guys hear me? Please,
Yes.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Is there a way for me to stop the messages popping up? Like they are distracting me.
We'll find it.
Okay. Okay, I'll just continue. Okay, so I was talking about clarity, right? And I was saying what you want to do is if the task you want to look at the rules, if the rules for that particular task, if they are clear. Now, if the rules are clear, that would help you determine if you want to automate it or not. If the rules are not clear, you shouldn't automate that kind of task. Now, there are certain tasks where the way you do it on Monday is not the same way you do it on Tuesday, right? It is highly based on somebody looking at it carefully and saying, let's do A, let's do B. It is not so clear. I'm trying to look for a good analogy, but none is coming to mind. Because I think there are very few cases that fall into that category. But if the rules are not explicit, like if they are not explicit, if they are not clear, if they have too many dependents, so for you to do this thing, A needs to check, B needs to check, C needs to check. The moment you're having that kind of scenario, don't automate it. You will end up with a mess because one rule might check, and because there are not enough guardrails, the agent will just run off and will do what you don't want it to do. So in those kind of scenarios, if the rules are not clear, the rules of engagement are not clear, if they have too many dependencies, I would say if they have more than 2 dependencies or at most 3, don't automate it. If more than 3 things need to check before we do this, don't. All right. The next thing you want to look at is data readiness. Now, if you remember, we said when you were describing your task, or when you're describing what you want to automate, you're looking at the triggers, you're looking at what happens when you need to, what triggers it. The next thing you're looking at, if you remember, is what is the input? What information does the automation require to do what it should do? Right? So data readiness, it is at this point where you're saying, okay, the agent needs 1, 2, 3, right? Do we have all of that ready? Just like employing someone to do a job, and the person needs a variety of tools to work with, or a variety of informations to work with, and the information is not ready. In that scenario, don't automate the task. If you don't have the data you require, then pause. Go get the information you require. Go get the data the agent will require to do what he should do before you start jumping into automation. Right? All right. Now you might have data, you might have all of that. The next thing you want to look at, which is very important, is the error cost. What is the cost if the agent makes a mistake? What happens in that scenario? Right? In scenarios where the agent makes a mistake, what happens? Is the impact going to be low? Is the impact going to be medium? I know this is quite relative, but yeah, for yourself, you define what is low, what is medium, and what is high. If the error cost is going to be high, please don't automate it. That's why when we are defining our task, we said the last one was safety. Right? Things that border around safety and are critical, like someone's medical dosage. You don't want to automate that, because if the system should make a mistake, someone's life can go in for it. So you don't want to automate that kind of a task. So if the error cost is really high, right, even if you have all the data required, it happens frequently and all of that, I personally would advise not to automate it, because no matter how you do it, right, systems like this would fail at certain points. Automations would actually fail at some point. In certain scenarios, you're not able to carry the load. They will fail, right? So if you know the cost is going to be really high, don't automate it. All right. The next one is measurable, right? Is the output measurable? Can you define success and failure clearly? Can you say if the agent does 1, 2, 3 in social timeline, it was successful? It's not able to do this and do that. It was a failure, right? You need to put that down. So if you can't define that, I'll say you pause a bit. I don't think it's important, but I'll say you pause a bit, go back and just define that. So it helps you, if not you continue in a circle because you don't know what you're looking for, right? And lastly is ownership. So you need someone who will be there to maintain things when it breaks. Because when it comes to automation and when it comes to building systems, things will break. Things will break. So you need to have somebody that will be able to maintain the system, someone that will be able to fix things when they break, right? Yeah. So if you've been able to answer these questions, you'll be able to describe the task. You've gone on to classify the task type. It is a routine or rule-based task or requires judgment. You've defined all of that. You've answered all these questions that tells you if it's an automation fit, if you should automate it or not, right? The next thing you want to check it still falls within the other points, right? But these questions specifically are questions I would ask myself, and if they turn out to be no, if any of them is true, if the answer to any of these questions are true, I will not automate. But before I go forward, you see the thing with these things, you can decide to automate something and you can actually decide the process to automate it. So you can take all of this and automate it, like everything I'm saying now. So you build a system where you put in the task and then it looks at the task and it starts checking. So if the task is this, we'll automate it. If the task is that, if the task does not meet this, does not meet that criteria. You don't have to do it all the time. Just putting it out there. Okay, so moving on. So if any of these questions are true, don't automate them. So if the process changes every week, it is unstable. Don't automate it, because if you're changing every week and you don't update the system for the next change, right, you'd end up with a mess. The system will be working with yesterday's instruction. So if you know it's going to be changing, the rules are going to be changing frequently, don't automate them. If the inputs, so you have your data ready, or you have your data ready. If the inputs are messy, they are ambiguous, they are not standardized, they are not clear, right? Don't automate it. If a wrong input, I think you still valid to the other one. If a wrong input can cause major harm, so things like money loss can lead to legal risk. So you can have lawyers at your door if the agent makes a mistake, or if he gets a wrong input, don't automate it. If it borders around safety, like I said earlier, somebody's health and all of that, don't automate it, right? If there's nobody to maintain it, well, I would say be slow on automating it. I mean, if you're automating it, you should be able to maintain it. So yeah. Okay. And lastly, if it requires access to sensitive data. This is a tricky question, right? If it requires access to sensitive data, you want to be careful when automating it, right? You want to think hard about it, and you want to ensure that you add guardrails, that if for some reason this agent should go down, the sensitive data that he has access to is not exposed to the public. So you should also take that into consideration. Okay, so by the time you're done with all of these, right, you should have answered the question, should I automate? Should I not automate? Right. The first part of the whole thing would have shown you if you should automate or not. Right. So the next thing you want to look at, you want to choose the right level or the right automation level. Right. So you're not automation is not an all or nothing scenario in the sense that you're either automating the entire process or you're not. No. In certain scenarios, you might there might be 5 steps to the answer, and you look at the whole thing and you automate step 1 to 3 and you handle 4 and 5. It still alleviates stress. It will still take away those repetitive tasks. It is not an all or nothing scenario. Don't think about it that way, right? So the first thing you want to look at, can we remove the task entirely? So you have defined the task, right? You want to decide, can I automate the entire task? Right? The next thing you want to look at, is there a standard way to do this thing? Is there a standard, like a template? A template per se, a template of the output, right? A template of what it is supposed to do. If you have an existing template, beautiful, right? The next thing you want to do is, would this system be assisting me, right? So in the scenario where I cannot automate the entire thing, right? What I can do is I can get the system to assist me do step 1 to 3, and I do 4 and 5, right? So that keeps you in this. By the time you've answered these questions, you're able to decide. Okay, you've decided you want to automate. Now you're now deciding: do I automate everything, or do I automate a part? Because following all the rules and all the questions we've asked ourselves, you discover that for certain tasks, right, you might be able to automate a part of it, not the entire thing. But for some other tasks, you can automate end to end, right? So you might require partial automation or full automation. Imagine you have a customer support flow. You can eliminate and remove unnecessary manual tagging. The AI can do that, or the system can do that. You can use templates. So you provide the AI with templates, and or the AI gives you templates you can use to map and say, okay, this is what to do, this is what to not do, right? Or you can build the system, and these are different customer support agents. You can build the system to assist you in the sense that the AI will do all the gathering, will do all the things, and it just creates a draft, and you just approve it, right? Or you can decide to go full automation, and the agent will get the questions, answer the questions based on common FAQs. But depending on your scenario, in certain companies and certain scenarios, you're building a customer support agent, right? I would advise you build an assistant, something that would draft the response, right? And then you look at it and then you send it. It's the customer support agent. But in some other scenarios, I can look at it and say, okay, you know what? This is you have enough answers to questions. You have your FAQs and all of that. You can automate it end to end. So the agent is able to answer the question. The agent is able to answer the question, and the agent is able to automate the entire process. Right. I have some others here. I think I'm getting behind on time. Thinking of what to say and what not to say. Okay, so I'll just run through the remaining points so we can do a quick automation before we call it a day and we get to answer questions. So what you want to look at, you want to estimate the return on interest before building, right? So you don't want to spend time building an automation that requires an OpenAI credits, let's say up to $60 a month, right? You don't want to spend time building that agent. It requires $60 a month when you could get a human to do it for $20 a month. That's a loss on your side. So you always want to estimate what's the return on interest, right, before you build it. Now, I'm saying all of these things because I've been in scenarios where people come and they're saying, I want to automate this task. Can you automate it? Yes, we can. Definitely, we can automate it. But if you look at the cost implication of automation, you then start seeing that if somebody should do this manually, they won't require that much. Do you understand? So you should always ask yourself, what is the return on interest for this automation, right? Before you jump into building. The next thing is you want to decide what done means. I think we talked about that earlier on. Excuse me. So what does done mean? Is it correct classification? Is it that it's going to be reducing time for you or all of that? Just sorry, true. So when building automation, add safeguards, you should be able to maintain or deprecate. All right. I think with all of that, we can jump into. So before we jump into this, I think I'll just open the floor for questions before we jump into automation. Because like I said earlier, right, automation is easy, truthfully. There's a lot of content out there on how to carry out automations. And we have our bootcamp coming up soon. So you can join in to learn how to use the different tools and carry out automations. I can't teach you that on this call. I mean, we're far behind on time. But what I can help you decide is what to automate and what not to automate. So I'll just open the floor for say 5 minutes, answer some questions, and then we can now jump into maybe doing a very simple automation and we call it a day. So yeah, I see hands are up.
And also, the chat has been open, so in case some of them want to type, if you want to speak, kindly raise your hand so that we can grant you permission. Thank you.
All right. Jerry Olga Roy has his hands up.
Yeah. Good day, AJ. It's good to hear your voice again. My favorite,
Good day, Jerry.
yeah, my favorite tutor in the last boot camp.
Oh,
So my question is, you mentioned something. You said you could actually look at the processes that you want to automate, and then use an automation to decide which of the process to do that. I've actually have that as a thought,
yeah.
but I've not. I don't know how to put it to. Is it like is it that you have a general, like there's a tool or there's an automation already that you impute different data or different scenarios from any business, and then it tells you which parts to automate, or you first of all build a unique workflow for a particular business before you now automate.
Okay. So here's the thing, right,
Yeah.
Jerry. So if you look through all these things, right, there are questions. Do you understand? There are questions, and you don't necessarily have to answer them yourself. That's what I'm saying. So you can build a simple anything workflow, link it to OpenAI, maybe use OpenAI's 5.2, right? One of their thinking models, and then you give it all these questions and you say, okay, I want you to, based off the answer to these questions, right, decide if
Okay.
this task should be automated or not. Do you understand? Now, the
Yeah.
automation will be able to, so let's just say the only thing I'm not going to tell it is the task can be, I describe the task, customer support, input is user's question, right? Output is answer to the question, and then what's the last thing we said? The input, the output, the decisions. Okay, how do you decide? You just give it that first part I talked about. You
Yeah.
just take that whole thing describing the task. You give it to the automation. The automation looks through it. Right? So the agent looks through it. You can do it with GPT even. If you don't want to build an automation for it, you could say based on all of these questions, right? Should this task be automated? Yes or no? Do you understand?
Okay.
So it's able to tell you, okay, automate this. You can automate this part. You can leave this part, and all of that. I hope that answers the question.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Precious.
Okay, hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Sorry, my it's not really a question, it's more of contribution. I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Okay. I'm looking for questions actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you could maybe at the end of the whole thing, you can make a contribution.
Okay.
I saw a question in the chat. What of people that doesn't know anything about automation? Where do we start from? Okay, so for people that don't know anything about automation, like I said earlier, you can start with answering these questions, looking for tasks, right, that you can automate. And by the time you're able to pinpoint tasks that require you to automate, you get the drive to want to automate, right? And once you've gotten to that point, there are a ton of materials out there. And then the easiest one you can use is the upcoming bootcamp, right? Divers has an automation bootcamp coming up in a few weeks, about 2 weeks. All right, you could join that and we take you from beginner to mid-level. So you're able to decide, you're able to automate things on your own by the time you're done with the bootcamp. So yeah, I hope that answers your question at Diwali. Okay. Do we have anyone else?
Yes. Good evening, guys.
Okay. Good day, Elvis.
Yeah. Now I'm concerned about this monetary aspect. Does that mean that if one does not subscribe, one cannot use the platform for the automation? Because me, I'm new to automation. You know?
What
Do
platform
they
are
have
you
a
referring to?
free? Do they have a free package or something, or one must subscribe? That's what I was.
There are different tools out there, right? And the different tools, subscriptions are peculiar to those tools. So you have Make.com, they give you 1,000 scenarios for a month. You have N8N, my personal favorite, but they give you a 14-day free trial. You have, no, the bootcamp is free. You have Zapier. Zapier requires some form of payment. There are different tools out there. Aside these three, right? I would say this is what we would consider the big three. But recently we have Clobot. Might require it to be a little more hands-on, but yeah, that's free. So what I'm just saying is that there are different tools and the subscriptions are peculiar for each one. Hope that answers your question, Elvis.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so as an admin VA, what can I automate? A lot of things, a lot. You can go on to automate your calendar. You can go on to automate your emails, so labeling your emails, informing you when you feel like there's a delicate task, right, that needs to be handled right now. What you just need to do sometimes is, like I said earlier, write down the different things you do, right? Do I do this frequently? If you do it frequently, then you should automate it. The next thing you want to answer is the rules. The rules to implementing this, right? Is it routine? Is it rule based? If A happens, we do B. If C happens, we do D. If you have that kind of a scenario, you can automate it, right? Like there are a lot of things you can automate. You can automate your calendar, you can automate your emails. You can even go as far as automating, reaching out, finding leads, right? There are a lot of things you can automate, Becky. I hope that answers your question. Raman, that's the last question I'll take. I'm seeing two hands. Yeah, Raman, Abdul Rahman Anthony.
My question is that for the beginner, what are the skills somebody need for this?
Sorry, could you speak up a bit here? And you sound muffled. It's not clear.
I say, my question is as a beginner, like what are the skills somebody needs for this automation?
Okay. As a beginner, I think it is the same thing was required for every beginner, right? A willingness to learn, right? A willingness to learn and then to practice. You see, one thing that happens in the tech space, in automation and tech space generally, is you find people stuck on tutorial loop. My compound monthly utility payment automated. Yes, you can. But sorry, Anthony. So yeah, you find people in a tutorial loop. So the best thing, what you need, you should be willing to learn, right? Eager to learn, even I would say eager to learn. You go on YouTube, you find a ton of materials, right? And then you You need someone to mentor you, someone that already knows the things to guide you, right? You'd also need a system. I think those are the things you need, basically. But the information out there is free. Right? Some of the tools give you a level of free tier that you can work with. So I think that's all you need: the willingness to learn and the willingness to be hands-on, not just learn, and not implement. I hope that's clear. I hope you answered the question, Abdul.
So please let me
So,
know when I can close the chat so that you can proceed.
okay. We are far back. We've spent a lot of time. We have about 10 minutes at the end of this. I was thinking, I saw the starter message, right? It was a where we're asking, do you have a task? What are tasks you think you would want to automate? In like 1 minute, I want everyone to just put in anything in the chat. What do you think you want to automate? Something simple you want us to try out. In 1 minute, I'll just look through, pick one, share my screen, and let's see how far we can go with automating it. I'm not seeing anything yet. You can learn from YouTube. You can find it here. But I'm looking for points. I'm looking for things to automate. What do you want us to automate for you? Something really simple. One of my I've worked on a lot of projects. That's not what I want to do right now. I want to automate social media content creation. That might be too much. Joiner, mover, lever, flow for an organization. I don't understand what you mean by joiner, mover. Content creation, resolving customer complaints. Okay. I think that's a simple one. Can we have just marketing email for clients also integrating in WhatsApp? Do I have something similar? I hope I saw something similar. SMS agent. SMS agents, you can use Twilio. We don't have access to Twilio right now. Loading recharge card on a monthly basis. It requires to do. I said 1 minute. Okay, that's all. So all of these we can actually automate all of these, but I'm looking for the simplest one to do. Marketing email for clients. Resolving customer complaints. Okay, I think I'll take the email classifier. Okay, I'll just do a simple show of an email classifier, and I wanted to do the customer support one, but I already have an automation for email classifier. Like it's something I did when I first started, like a long time ago. I can just look at the workflow. It's really simple. It's something I could share. It's on anything. So let me share my screen. So let me know when you can see my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, I guess
Not
Yeah,
yet.
it was about to come up now. I hope you guys are enjoying this session. Please, if you are, you can drop some emojis. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, so I have optimized email workflow. Let me see. Let's look at. You can say I did this in 2025. Like it's been a while. Okay, just try opening it up so we can just take a peep. I actually wanted to do something from scratch. How many minutes do I have? Jesus, about 7 minutes. Okay, I'll just explain this, and I think that we might end there, sadly. Maybe I'll just give an overview of how you can do the customer complaint thing. So this is a very, very simple and basic workflow. So how it works is it starts with a Gmail trigger, right? Gmail trigger is linked to my account. So once a mail comes in, it is triggered, right? So you see, it watches my mail every minute, and what it is watching for is when a message is received, right? So when we have that message, when the message comes in, it goes into a text classifier. This is a very powerful node. You can find the text classifier. Well, you know what? I think I should first of all explain what automation does generally before I start explaining how it does. So what this automation does is that the automation watches my mail, right? And whenever a mail comes in, it is able to label the mail, right? Is it a promotion mail? It puts it in the folder for promotion mails. Is it a social media mail? It puts it in the category for social media, personal, sales, recruitment, and all of that. Let me see if I could just quickly open up my Gmail account so I could just give a brief overview of what it looks like. So that's all it does. And then for certain types, so for the ones that are promotion mails, right? What I do is I can decide to respond, right? For the ones that are social media, you could route it to say Telegram or WhatsApp, so you get a message. You get a message in that regard. Is someone speaking? Oh, this is taking quite a while. Okay, I can't blow my screen, but so you can see here it tags all my mails for miscellaneous receipts. So when I make payments, they are there. Recruitment, sales, right? So if I want to see my mails, the ones that fall under sales, all I have to do is come here and I would see things that fall under sales for my automation in my mail rather. So you can use it to. So that's what the automation does. It puts the different one recruitment. So I've applied for jobs, right? And they've responded back to me. Can you guys still see my screen?
Not anymore.
No,
Oh,
not again.
I'm sorry. Just a minute.
No.
Can you see it now?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, you still can't see my screen.
Yes.
You can see it now. So you can see recruitment jobs I've applied for or
No,
job
you can't see
alerts.
it yet. You can't
Ah,
see it. You can't see your screen.
oh boy. Okay, let me stop. Let me stop. Let
Yeah,
me
we
turn
can
up
see
my.
it now. I think
Okay,
we
you
can
can
see
see it
it.
now. Okay.
It's coming up.
So I'm in the recruitment tab, right? And these are for jobs I'd applied for or jobs on LinkedIn that LinkedIn has sent to me. So let's say I was actively looking for a job. You can see I'm not because I have not opened most of these mails, right? It becomes very simple. You get, oh, that should have been very interesting. No code workflow specialist. So you can see, once it's a job, it is labeled there, right? If it's a receipt, I've made a payment, I can go here, I'll see all of that. If it's something that's coming from my bank, because anything coming from my bank is very dicey, like I'm interested in that. So I also went as far as labeling mails that come in from my bank. I can go there and I'll see all of that, my statements, my charts with the bank and all of that. So that's what the automation does. Let me quickly run back there and then just show you how we did it. All right. So the email comes in and the text classifier gets the email. So the text classifier. So before we jump into this, if you look at it, right, I already before I started automating it, I knew what the input would be. The input would be my mail, right? That is what he needs. Once a mail comes in, that is the information he needs. And this is something that happens daily and most frequently, which is daily. So it's something that I should automate, right? The rules are quite simple, right? So if the mail comes in, classify it as this or that or that or that, right? It's very simple. If he makes a mistake, what's the worst that can happen? Nothing. I just find a recruitment mail in my sales folder and I move it myself. The risk is little to nothing, right? But you could see that for personal, right, I told the agent to create a draft. You can see here, create draft. So for personal, the agent is not responding to the person for me. It is creating a draft. For social media mails, right? Initially, the agent, I had set it that the agent should reply to sales mails for me. But it went on, it was booking meetings for me without my knowledge. So I had to turn it off myself. Although I told it to do that. So anything sales, let's find out what they have to offer and all of that. For personal, create a draft. If it's a social media post, store it in Google Sheets. Right. So I could go to the Google Sheet and I could go to my sheet and discover what I need and all of that. So you see, this is a very simple workflow, right? Just the mail comes in, I label it, and that's it. So it just helps me organize my my emails, right? So this is something really simple. The customer support one. Let's just do something. How fast? Jesus. Can I borrow 5 minutes, Abdul?
Yes.
Okay. So let's just create something. So for your customer support agent, so following all the rules that we've described, right? You want to define what is the input. So let me put on my notepad. That's what I usually would use. So you want to define what the input is. So the input is the customer's complaint, right? The next thing we want to answer, who can tell me? Okay, the rules. So we want to check the sentiment. If it's positive, we route it in a certain direction. If it's negative, so sentiment analysis. The next thing you can also look at is the outcome. So what do we want to do? Maybe send the message on Slack, send a message on Telegram or something of that sort. Let's just say send an email. That's easier to do. Then, so you're able to define this, the inputs, the rules, and then the outputs. Who already does these things? Customer support agents. So if we should run into issues, we know what to reach out to. So the first thing I'll do is, how do we get the customer inputs? There are different ways to do it, right? But I'll go with a form, right? Anything has an inbuilt form. So let's just say get customer complaints. All right. In the form title, I'll just call it complaints. All right. Next thing, form elements. Yeah, what is your name? Field name. Yeah, field name is name. Placeholder should be say Abdul. There are no default values, make it required. And I'll just say, what is your complaint? So it will be text and the text, right? And it's required to. So you see, anything is nice. Instead of going on to do a Google form separately, you can just do your form inside of anything, right? The next thing we'd want to do is we get the customer, we brought in their complaint. Okay. Let's test this. Let me know when you can see the form.
We can see the form.
Okay. John, what's your complaint? Let's say it's for a restaurant. The meal from yesterday was really bad. Okay. So now we're able to get the response. All right. So the agent has gotten the response. If you open it up, 2 minutes more. So you see it here, the name I filled in, the when it was submitted and all of that. The next thing we want to do is we want to pass it on to an agent. So I'll say select this and say define below. So I'm not explaining how anything works. If you don't know how it works, you can join the bootcamp and would explain all of that and walk you through. Well, I'm just doing a very simple automation. Right.
All right.
Okay, come here and see the helpful assistant that determines the sentiment of a customer's review or response. Tell us if it is what's the word now? It's positive, negative, or neutral. All right. Come down here and say output format. Sentiment. I'll just say positive. Now specific format. I'll select OpenAI as my model of choice. And then let's just say simple memory. Yeah. No, I don't do memory. Let's just make like that. Okay. Output parser for fixing. Yeah. Model reduce growth. Yeah. Models I use this AI GPT OSS. And then output parser, structured output parser. You want to say sentiment, not in capital. Sentiment. And let's just say positive. This is me just giving the agent an example, all right, of the format you should give me an output in. And then I think that's it. Let's just run it. All right, so let's see what's now, what to give us. Yep, give us a sentiment of negative, right? So I can now say, this is the basic thing. I can now say, come here and maybe put a switch, all right? Well, we're basically done, Abdul, but just, so I can come here. Yeah. So I can come here and then put it here, the output from the agent, and I can say if it is negative, right, do A. Rename the output as negative. Let's just copy this. It is positive. So if this is positive, we'll do something else. And this is me just trying to whip up something really simple. Okay, so if it is neutral, you can do something else. All right, so we can now say if it's negative, send a mail to, send a message. So I'll use my mail, send another of my mail. So I'll send it to send it here. Subject should be negative review. And I would say Mr. I'll open this up. Mr. John gave a negative review of our platform. Please cross-check. Okay, I think I'll just run this part and let's see that the mail is sent. And it's the same thing. So if it's positive, it will go to any of these ones. But now that we need negative, let's just run it and see that we got the mail. Okay, so you said this mail is sent. Let me go to my email inbox, show you the mail, and they do stop there. Still coming up. Yep, that's it there. Let me know if you can see my
Yes, we can see your screen. Yeah.
so you can
Mr.
see the
John.
mail was sent by the agent. Mr.
Yeah.
John gave a negative review of our platform. Please cross-check. Right. So you can store that in a Google Sheet for the company. You can send it on the Slack channel. You can do a ton of like that automation. You can it's as simple as it gets, but there are a lot of things you can do with it. Right. Sorry for taking so long. Sorry for taking too long. But that's it from me. I'll be sending a document to Abdul with that details all the things you need to look at to help you decide what you should automate. And although it might seem long, but as time goes on, you just realize that you develop a third sense or a sixth sense, right, on saying should this be automated or not. So that's all from me. Thank you, Abdul. Thank you, Lobby, for the opportunity to share. I'm grateful. If you have any questions, I'll be open to them. That's all from me, guys.
So guys, please drop your questions. I want to see emojis, please. He has done a lot, and we want to really appreciate him. So let's react. Send your reactions. Thank you so much. So you can drop your questions. So we have like 3 to 5 minutes more, and I'll just be saying
Okay,
the
I'm seeing questions. Please, what is the most affordable anything? Free hosting plan right now for a beginner? I don't understand. Please, what is most affordable or free hosting plan right now? I know the cheapest for anything is $20 a month, right? You can start with free hosting, but the problem with free hosting is that most times beginners find it hard setting it up, right? So, but if you should sit on it for a while, I think you'll be able to get a response, be able to pull through with it. If you have issues, you can also reach out. Apart from anything, can you use Zapier or Mix to automate this particular task? Definitely, you can. You can. But the thing is, I would say anything is my personal favorite, right? It's more flexible. It's easier to customize for me. But yes, I can do all of that with Zapier and then Make. And we also do teach using Zapier and Make in the course, in the course I got from it. Okay, I see hands. Sadiq, yeah, Sadiq, what's the question? If it's simple and straightforward.
Yes, okay, thank you very much for the opportunity given. Just of course make sure this is I want to request that is there another option to host anything on a cloud base, like someone I can use something like I used to train for a while because I'm using a local I'm using it locally on my PC, but
But
my
you're having
PC is
issues.
quite yes, is dragging. So anytime I get an upgraded PC, what do you suggest I can do in respect to that? Thank you.
I have a suggestion. It's a suggestion, please. And if anybody should find out, I didn't tell you, but you can make use of any 10 free plan, right? You can use what they call 10th meal. I don't know if you've heard of 10th meal, right? So you can use that to open a new Anytime account. You have 14 days, right, to work. Another thing you can also do is you can reach out to Anytime. So I have a student, and surprisingly, he sent a mail to Anytime and customer support. I was like, "Oh, I'm new to this thing. I'm a student and I'm trying to find my way around this. Could you guys just maybe give me an extension? And Anytime replied. In fact, they replied in about a day. They responded and they gave him, I think, about a month or so. But they gave him some time to finish up what he was doing. So yeah, you can take any of those routes. But if you do take the first, I wasn't the one that gave you that information. I hope that helps you, Sadiq. Okay, Ishak Abdullahi.
Yes, my question is, what are some ways that we can monetize this skill now after learning?
Yeah, so how do you monetize? That's a full class on its own. But I'll just try to summarize it. So the best thing you can do is find problems rather, find business problems and solve them. Right. So for example, the customer support agent that we built, don't go to the business and tell them, I'm selling you an NHN workflow. Go to the business and say, oh, I have a customer support agent or I have an AI agent. Like the moment everybody has AI, they will listen to you. So I have an AI agent that could help you deal with your customer review or your customer support, right? I see that you get a ton of customer support and people don't get replies as fast as they should. And why don't we automate this with AI, right? They'll listen to you as long as you're promising them results and you're able to deliver. So find problems and solve. You can build a voice agent for a real estate company that calls customers and say, oh, we have a property in London, we have a property in Lagos, and this is the price, this is this. You go to a real estate company and tell them, oh, I've built this. It's a call agent. It should be able to do this and this for you. It will handle 20 calls at this price. The company will look at it and say, okay, what we are paying for this agent is cheaper than getting someone to sit on the phone and call people, right? You give them a 1 week trial, they test run it for 1 week, and if they like it, they pay you for it. That is the same thing with almost every skill that you would get. I hope that answers your question, Ishak.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
All right, Jerry, you seem to have a lot of questions. Okay, please make it fast.
Okay, it's concerning this business idea you gave now. So there are some persons I've reached out to, but my challenge is the cost of hosting. I've tried a few free hosting plans, and it's very technical, but I don't know how to go around it. Like, what is that's why I asked, what's like easiest way? It might not be cheap, might not be free, but what's like most the easiest way to set up for a business that don't really need that high cost of hosting? And how do I now get my money if I'm giving anything $20 already a month? That's been my challenge.
That's dicey. That's dicey. I want to say bounce between free plans, but that is not scalable, right? But why not target higher businesses? Why not target businesses that pay you more, right? I remember someone saying that if you wanted to make money from a skill, right, sell something cheap to many people, or sell something expensive to few persons, and you get your money back. Who knows? That might
Wow,
just
nice.
solve your problem. Do we have another one? When is
Nice.
the bootcamp starting? I think Abdul posted it earlier. I think Abdul posted it earlier. I can't the dates. I don't have the date offhand. You can join the WhatsApp group to be updated. Yeah, you can join the WhatsApp channel. You can register there. Jerry, is your hand still up?
That was a mistake.
Okay. Apart from NXN, can you use them between NXN or Zapier? Which is better, and what are your reasons? NXN, I would say for me, NXN is better. NXN is more customizable. NXN allows you to easily integrate third-party applications, right? For example, integrating Gmail it takes forever. You need to go and create a Google application and all of that and all of that. The complexity with those guys. Zapier is more expensive. Zapier is easier, but Zapier can be expensive. But NXN gives you most of these things at a cheaper price. So yes, I'll go with NXN. Adobe. Abdul, please you can cut me off at any point once we are beyond the time. But Adobe, what's your question?
Good evening. I want to ask that if you have been okay, my question is that I've been part of this bootcamp, this automation bootcamp, but I
Okay.
dropped out along the line because I was
Oh,
not understanding the thing. I want to know if I can still join back again with the second set.
yeah, you can. I'm sorry you weren't understanding what was going on. But I would say join the next cohort, right, and start from the very beginning, and do well to utilize the call hours, right? So those points where a mentor is on the call for an hour and you get to ask your questions, right? You learn a lot in those calls, I must tell you, and then also learn to collaborate. Yeah, you meet people that will be able to help you out, even when mentors are not around. So yeah,
So do
that's
I
it,
need to
Adobe.
register again?
Yeah, so you have to register again.
Okay.
Okoma Victor, is that it? Yeah, Okuma
Yeah.
Victor, yeah. Question.
So about the guy who keep asking about this thing, getting a free automation to kind of, we're talking about N8N. I thought they have a free self-hosted. It's not going to work or something.
He's saying he has tried that out, but yeah, there are a lot of complexities around that. There's certain things you will not do if you're on the free plan. So the cloud plan is always better. So that's why he's looking for free alternatives that you can host on the cloud, and then to afford him the luxury of doing some of these things since he's going to be working with businesses.
Okay.
Okay. Toby,
That's just it.
I saw it. Toby, it's like his hand is going up and coming down. It's looking like that. If you have questions, you can pass them up to or you can pass them up to Abdul, and you can get it to me, and I'll be willing to
Good evening.
answer. Good evening, Toby.
Yeah, so I tried to register for the free AI bootcamp.
Yeah.
But when I got to this site, I was confused. I didn't know what else to do again. It was just showing job vacancies. I don't know where to go to.
So what you should understand is that Lobby is a platform to give talents jobs and allow companies to meet talents, right? And Lobby is the one hosting this. So for you to register for the bootcamp, it is required that you create an account on Lobby. So that's why it's asking you most of those questions. Well, I believe that if you just sit for a bit, just read through, you'll be able to create the account, right? Sorry about the inconveniences. Maybe one of these days we could, Abdul could maybe organize a webinar to walk you guys through applying for the
Actually, I've created an account with Lobby before.
Okay.
So I'm saying that
registration shouldn't be a problem.
Yes, I'm saying that I'm confused because it's showing, I don't know, it's showing some job vacancies like these job vacancies that these tech job vacancies, like it's showing a list of vacancies of jobs in the on the site.
Yeah, and that's what
so I don't know what else to pick.
So
Abdul will walk you through.
Just scroll down. You're going to, but I've already sent the exam. Don't worry, I'm going to correct that, and I'm going to send it to the direct link for you to register. That's what I just shared now. Okay. And if you're seeing jobs, you can just scroll down till you see the no-code, low-code AI automation training. Just click on it and apply. Or we can also have another session where we can just explain how to apply, and that is it. So guys, we've come to the end of this event. So 3 things. The first one is to register for the automation training. The second thing is the recording of this session is going to be posted on YouTube. The resource is going to be sent. Then once everything is available, we are going to be sending it to the community. Please watch it and try a simple automation, post it online and tag Lobby AI. And the last thing is, what event would you want us to organize for next month? I want you guys to reach out to me on my DM. Let's have a discussion so that we can know the best event that we can organize for you guys. If you have any question, if you have any problem, you are encountering anything, you can just let us know. And let us know how we can help you. We can later have another session with AJ. That is possible. So for now, we've come to the end of the event. Thank you so much. So be expecting the recording tomorrow, by God grace. Thank you.
So
Yeah, maybe next one will be more
what's the
hands-on.
what's the duration of the training, the boot camp? I mean,